7,500 employees at Twitter got an ultimatum. Hit this button, we'll give you 3 months severance. Hit this button, get ready to hustle. 7,450 people took the 3 months and left. 50 people stayed. He's back. This Week in Startups, up next on the vlog. Guys, welcome back to the vlog. It's been a month. Gavin, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Yeah, amazing.
We've got a lot to get through.
So much
going on. All right, where are we going to kick off? Let's start off with the fresh powder that's been hitting the market. Yep. Last time you and I caught up, we spoke about RealVC, we spoke about Telstra Ventures, our innovation fund, about $800 million collectively of news.
Yeah, Telstra Venture Funds actually retweeted and shared all of this content.
They did. Thank you, Telstra Ventures.
Thank you so much.
Well, since then, there's been Blackbird have announced their $1 billion fund, the first Australian VC to do a $1 billion fund. That came hot off the heels of an $800 million fund from SquarePeg, so another $1.8 billion into the market. So there is a lot of dry powder out there.
I'd hate to be in that seat because now they're going to kiss even more frogs.
Yeah, well,
and their princess.
I think the interesting thing here is, well, that's $2.6 billion worth of new capital, dry powder, that needs to be deployed over the next 10 years, right? A lot of it will be concentrated over the next 3 years, but with the market conditions having changed and having kind of slowed down a little bit as the investors have started to close their wallet, the question is, coming off the back of the Sunrise conference, Blackbird's conference in Sydney,
I saw that.
Yeah, it was excellent, is how are they going to deploy that much capital into market?
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure they've got a plan, but it'll be interesting to see how the market conditions adapt.
Do you think they'll improve their position? What was $1 billion of investments back then? Now the market conditions can change. Do you think that might be like $1.3 billion worth? I mean, the billion is one thing, but they'll get heavily discounted because it's tough economic times.
So they might get more bites at the cherry in terms of, deeper penetration into some of these companies. They might be able to deploy it to more companies. There's often a narrative in the market that Nikki Shavak and Paul Bassett and others talk about, which is the pace of deployment. How many checks are they writing per month and per year?
Yep.
And there's different debates around that, but you can jump on LinkedIn or Twitter. No doubt you'll be able to find the threads.
Talk to me about those that have raised on the venture.
So there's a lot of talk out there about flat rounds, down rounds, bridge rounds, but there has been a couple of green shoots, I should say, a few stars amongst the capital raisers at the seed stage and also the growth stage. We saw Source raise $2.3 million as the mission control room for product managers. I think that's really interesting. The data point that's interesting from there, though, is that it's founded by ex-Atlassian and SafetyCulture employees. So we're starting to see that flywheel take place of people leaving bigger startups, growth stage startups, and they're going and starting their own businesses based on problems they saw within their own organization, which is great. We also saw BuildKite raise $21 million and Darwinium raised $10 million, which was led by Blackbird. The interesting thing there is that the founder was previously had built a cybersecurity firm called ThreatMetrix that he sold for over $1 billion. So that multiple time founder is also another theme that we're starting to see in market.
I love it. And so venture capitalists raising rounds from their LPs to deploying capital into some shiny rising stars, to those shiny stars getting a little bit more mature and ASX listing.
Yeah, that's right. And we're starting to see quite a lot of M&A activity happening, right? So two ones that stood out over the past couple of weeks was Elmo, which is an HR tech software business that is being gobbled up for $500 million. And then we saw Nitro, famous for their PDF that competes with Adobe, Adobe Acrobat, also have a bite at $500 million. So there's a lot of activity taking place out there on the ASX.
And I'm hearing that US-based VCs are starting to really look almost like predator, kind of like at the Australian market because of the Australian dollar.
The predators are out. Well, the Aussie dollars declined recently,
felt every cent of it last week.
Yeah, and so billionaire Alex Waislitz has said that there's a risk that Australian tech, Australian innovation will be gobbled up too cheap by US firms, private equity or bigger firms. And both of the bites at Elmo and at Nitro have been US organizations. So it's something to watch out to as the markets and as the dollar continues to change.
So just in a recap for where we're at, we started with venture capitalists raising money from their LPs, deploying capital, climbing up the hill to the ASX. We're now sort of sliding down the hill a little bit.
We're going down.
Off it.
Well, there's been, the past 3 weeks has just been remarkable. We saw Deliveroo go into administration and leave the Australian market.
Yep.
They just couldn't continue to fund the Australian operations. We saw Volley gone. We saw ASX kill off their blockchain projects, which was $250 million investment. We saw the global cryptocurrency platform FTX collapse after raising billions from top-tier US VCs.
I know that's a wild story.
That's an organisation that was valued at $30 billion only a couple of weeks ago and is now gone. And then on the people movement side of things, we also saw Larry Marshall step down as CEO of CSIRO.
Yep.
And we saw Steve Vamos step down as the CEO of Xero after 5 years at the helm. So there's lots of moving and shaking going on out there in the market. The waters are still choppy.
All right, so we're like this down. Now we're going to go to space.
Yeah, that's
Talk
right.
about our boy.
Our boy Elon Musk. So
What a legend.
while Jack Dorsey stepped off as CEO a year ago, we're just trying to thread these themes together. Elon Musk has stepped in, closed the $44 billion deal,
Bang.
and he's just going for it.
So I love it. I really love it. I think Twitter is the most incredible space and place to be. I'm a little annoyed, although I am a subscriber to free speech and I'm a subscriber to everything and I want people to feel great. I'm not a true fan of allowing certain people back, not allowing certain people back.
I think there's certainly some questions around the management style. I don't think that's anything new. I think there's been management style questions at SpaceX and Tesla and other companies he works at. But in terms of doing a big tech turnaround at rapid velocity, we're watching this live. And what I love about it is we're watching it live in public. You know, we're seeing product decisions be made over Twitter. We're seeing pricing decisions be made, deployed and failed and pulled back and put on hold. We've seen, what do we see? Code reviews where we're seeing everything happen.
I saw an amazing tweet the other day of a guy. He said, "I've got this ultimatum right now with what I'm doing at Twitter," and he gave a bit of attitude to what he retweeted or commented on one of Elon's tweets. And then someone commented to below and just said, "Mate, Elon, if you got to go with an attitude like this," and it's go like, no, say it in private. Elon's like, "Nah, you're fired." So he fired a Twitter employee on Twitter.
I did say that. I think the reality is he doesn't give a fuck, right? This is the richest guy in the world. He's been successful with Tesla, SpaceX. People would argue whether it's successful or not, but SpaceX just shot a capsule around the moon this past couple of days. But in terms of Twitter, in a year's time, if this turnaround is successful, it is going to be an absolute business case in the making for a turnaround, and the spotlight is going to shift to Google, to Meta, and to other big tech firms to say, you guys are bloated. Look at what's happened over here. Look, there's a long race to run here. There's a lot of unknowns there. But the thing is that him and whoever he's got in that war room, and there's been some rumors about some ex-PayPal co-founders and others in the war room making decisions. It's going to be an interesting space to watch over the next couple of weeks and couple of months.
So a couple of things there, just to double click on what Gabs just said.
Did you just say double click?
Yeah, we're talking about Twitter.
That's so tech of you.
Did I think? Just to dive a little bit deeper into that, the first thing is 7,500 employees at Twitter at 5 p.m. last week got an ultimatum. Hit this button, we'll give you 3 months severance. Hit this button, get ready to hustle. 7,450 people took the 3 months and left.
Yeah.
50 people stayed.
It's unbelievable. And only yesterday, we could talk about this forever, and we know time's limited. We know your time's precious, but we'll just finish it off with the fact that just yesterday, Elon Musk tweeted out that Twitter has had an all-time record, day by day, week by week, daily active usage. People are loving it. He's loving it. The memes are real. We're just going to have to wait and see. But I think your usage is part of that up and to the right. I mean, you're at an all-time high.
I'm an 11-year vet on Twitter because my anniversary happens at a very good friend of mine's wedding. I got a tweet, congratulations, it's your Twitter anniversary. 11 years I've been on, so I'm not part of the new daily active users of 1.6 million per day in new. but my usage on Twitter
Is skyrocketing.
is skyrocketing.
Up and to the right.
Gee,
Thanks, guys.